Raise your hand if you've struggled going through social media and been so confused about how to actually lose weight. Raise your hand if you've been told that you have to eliminate some specific type of food in order to lose weight. Look, everyone is confused about how to lose weight, how to lose fat. And so I want to make this video to show you and talk about how fat loss actually works for real, based on science. If you don't know who I am, I lost over 125 pounds. I've kept that off for over 23 years now. I lost my weight back in 2002. And I make these videos because there's so many people out there that need help and that need real guidance, as opposed to just what's on Instagram or X or whatever other social media you follow. And so there's a lot of people out there that, first of all, haven't done it. So they haven't gone through the weight loss process like I have. And then there's a lot of other people out there who have something to sell you. So they're gonna tell you that there's a product that helps you lose fat. They're gonna tell you that there's specific foods that help you lose fat. They're gonna tell you to do their juice cleanse or their detox for a week and you'll lose fat. So I wanna debunk all of that stuff. And this isn't really debunking myths. This is really just kind of talking about how fat loss actually works. I do have a video on the top myths that I do debunk, and I'll link that up top so you guys can check that out if you want. But really, there's one main thing to think about when you think about losing fat and how losing fat actually works in the body. You have to think about it like energy balance. And so you have a certain amount of energy coming in with the nutrition that you eat, and you have a certain amount of energy going out with the movement that you do, whether it's exercise, whether it's walking, any kind of daily movement, in addition to your body just keeping you alive. If you laid in bed all day, your body's gonna use a certain amount of energy to keep you alive because you gotta breathe, you have to, do certain things, your organs, your tissue, everything has to work in your body. And that's basically what's called your basal metabolic rate. Just kind of you're keeping your metabolism going, right? So we're not gonna get too sciencey in this, but we do wanna kind of describe a couple of different things that are very important for you to understand how this all works. And so when you think about energy in and energy out, a lot of people will say, well, there's no point in counting calories because no one really knows specifically how many calories are in this piece of food, or no one knows what's in this piece of food. Or when I go out to dinner, how am I supposed to know what's in that, dish that they bring out? Did they use oil? Did they not use oil? What ingredients did they use? It's almost impossible. So why even try to count calories, or why even try to track food, right? And I'm not here to convince you to track food in any way. What I'm saying is you need to have some kind of awareness about how much energy is coming in. And there's some ways that you can do that. Now, the people that say, why even try if it's not gonna be accurate? Let me explain it to you from a financial perspective. That's like saying, why would I even track my money and the spend that I have, my budget, if there might be emergencies that come up? My car might break down. I might have to replace a tire. So why even track my expenses, and why even track a budget, and why even make a budget if all of these things are gonna happen? So hopefully you're following me here. I think about daily intake in terms of calories, in terms of food, as almost like a daily calorie budget. And so when you think about your budget that way, and you think about your food that way, then you should have a good idea of how much food it takes for your body to maintain the weight that you're at right now. And then by adding some more food or some more energy, you're gonna gain weight. And by taking away some energy, you're gonna lose weight. So that's basic. Now, it doesn't matter if that comes from a banana, an apple, potato chips, honey buns. It doesn't matter where that energy comes from. Now, there are some caveats and some things that'll make it easier for you to lose fat, but we'll get into that in a second. Right now, we're only focused on energy in, energy out. You have a certain amount of food that you're eating every day. You have a certain amount of energy that you're expending on steps, your metabolism, all the other stuff that you do throughout the day. If you exercise, all of that stuff. Okay, now that we understand that, there are 3 ways for you to lose fat effectively, okay? The first way is by simply cutting how much you eat, taking that energy in side of the equation and cutting it. I usually say if you cut 500 calories roughly, most people will lose weight. If you 500 calories less every day that you're eating, most people will lose weight. Now that's one way, is dramatically just cutting from one side of the energy in side of things, that side of the equation. Now, the other way that you can do it is you can cut, or you can add energy out. So, and essentially adding to the other side of the equation, meaning you can do more exercise, right? So on a regular day, you had X amount of energy coming out. Now it's X plus whatever exercise you do. So you might want to go for a 30-minute walk. You might want to do a strength training workout. Whatever energy you're expending in addition to your regular day, that's going to help you lose weight as long as you're eating the same amount. Now, there are some complications that come with either one of those approaches. Number one, some people don't do well with cutting a lot of calories. It may depend on your lifestyle, it's your metabolism. Everyone's a little different. So some people, it may be really hard for them to cut 500 calories out of their diet every day. They might be hungry, they might be grumpy. It just might not work with their schedule, with their life, with their lifestyle. And that's okay. Other people may not have the time to exercise enough to add 500 calories of energy out. 500 calories of exercise every day is actually a lot. If you think about how much time that would be on a treadmill or strength training or anything, it's quite a bit of time. And so how do we fix that? Well, I told you there was 3 ways that we can lose fat. The first way is by decreasing the amount of energy or the food that you're eating. The second way is by increasing the amount of exercise. The third way, which is the way that I like to approach things, is a combination of 1 and 2. Meaning, if I want to have a 500 calorie deficit in total, what if I subtracted 250 calories from everything I eat every day? Now, this doesn't have to mean that you're counting calories specifically. There's a lot of ways to do this, and I can get into this in another video. But let's say you're out of that 500 calorie deficit that you're shooting for, you're taking 250 away from what you eat every day. So that's half of it. And then on the exercise side, you're adding 250 calories that you're expending, that you're using in exercise, that you're using by going for a walk, by doing anything that you enjoy doing. So all of a sudden now, you're balancing it out on both sides, and you're taking a little bit of food away, but not too much where you're too uncomfortable. Then you're adding a little bit of exercise in, but not too much that you don't have the time to do it or that it's too much every day. Because what happens if you add too much exercise, you end up burning out. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They say, I never go to the gym, but you know what? New Year's resolution, I'm gonna go to the gym 6 days a week, and I'm gonna take 1 day off of rest. And what happens is they can't keep that up. It's not sustainable because they have to do so much exercise every day to keep that up. And eventually they're just gonna fall off, and then they're gonna say, you know what? This is too hard, and I quit. And that's what I'm trying to help you guys avoid. I don't want you to quit. I want you to realize that small, sustainable changes is the way that you'll get lasting results. Whether you have to lose 100 pounds like I did, or whether you have to lose 10 pounds, it doesn't matter. Sustainable results is the way that's gonna get you there. And not only that, but it's gonna help you keep that weight off because you're gonna be switching your lifestyle as opposed to just doing something for a month or two. So if we eat a little less, it's not that uncomfortable, but we're still making a little bit of a sacrifice. Do a little more exercise. That means increase steps maybe. Maybe you're getting 5,000 steps and you're gonna increase that to 7,500, 8,000 steps, 10,000 if you're really good and you have the time. Or doing a little bit more steps and then maybe adding a strength training session, right? There's a lot of different ways you can do that, and that's subjects for another video. But the idea that I'm trying to portray here is everyone is so confused about, oh, I can't eat carbs if I'm gonna lose weight, or I can't eat fat, so I have to eat really little fats, or I have to do this, I have to do that. There's a million ways to slice this, guys. There's a million ways that you can lose weight and lose fat. And it's really up to you, and it's individual. And so don't let anyone tell you there's only one way to lose fat or lose weight. There's many ways to do it. And everyone, because they're different and because they have different preferences, different lifestyles, someone might be really active and they might want to just add some exercise every day. Someone maybe doesn't have a big appetite, they're really busy throughout the day, and it might be easy for them to skip a meal or eliminate 500 calories. For most people, it's good to have a little bit of a balance of both. Take away a little calories from the food side, add a little bit of calories that you're wasting, that you're spending from the exercise side, and all of a sudden, bam, you have your deficit and you will guaranteed lose weight. Now, I wanna give you a couple of different kind of bonus tips to go along with this. This is a very simple thing. This video is meant to be very straightforward and very simple, but I do wanna give you a couple of kind of mindset tips that you can carry along with you that might help you. First of all, fat loss, I want you to think about weight loss and fat loss almost as a side effect. It's a side effect of your behaviors every day. Think about the behaviors that you need to do. Think about when you look at your plate, if you're trying to eat a little less, cut 25% off of what you typically eat. That's as simple as that, or 20%. Split your plate in 4 and take one of those quarters away, or 20% away. However it is that's easy for you. Get a smaller plate. If you're gonna eat 20%, get a 20% smaller plate and eat that, right? The other way that you can do this is, people wanna lose weight, but they don't wanna be hungry. And so you wanna focus on foods that are gonna keep you feeling full and satisfied. And one of the best ways to do that, based on scientific research, is to focus on whole foods. Focus on foods that are naturally gonna give you a lot of fiber, because fiber keeps you full, and a lot of protein, because protein keeps you full. What you don't wanna do is, sure, you can go on Google or go on YouTube and you can look up videos of people who ate donuts for 30 days and still lost weight, or ate McDonald's for 30 days and still lost weight. The reason why is because they didn't eat enough. They ate a certain amount of calories, even though it was coming from crap and garbage, but they ate a certain amount of calories, and then they didn't eat enough for them to maintain their weight, so they lost a little weight. That's okay. It doesn't matter what food you eat. Now, what I will tell you is, if you eat those foods, you're not gonna stay full, and it's gonna be a lot harder. You might be grumpy. The process is gonna be a pain in the ass, because you're always gonna be hungry. When you eat ultra-processed foods, chips, cookies, anything that comes in a bag or a box, you're gonna be more hungry. There are scientific papers that show that people who eat ultra-processed foods mainly are gonna consume an extra 500 calories daily on average. So there's the 500 calorie deficit that we're trying to attack. You're just gonna eat that unconsciously by eating a lot of ultra-processed food. So number one, make sure that you think about fat loss as a side effect of your behaviors. So focus on the behaviors, focus on the little things that you can do every day. Number two, eat foods that keep you full, whole foods that have a lot of fiber and that have a lot of protein in it. And then the other thing is, make sure that you realize that the scale isn't always what's gonna matter, because if you're doing it right and you're eating enough protein, and maybe you're doing at least one strength training workout a week, then you're probably gonna be gaining some muscle. And what that means is, muscle weighs a little more than fat. And so if you're losing a little fat, but you're keeping muscle or gaining a little muscle, your scale weight might not change that much. But what you will notice is that your circumference, your waist circumference, is gonna go down. So if you're measuring your waist and you notice that that's going down, you're doing the right thing. You're losing fat, no matter what the scale says. Now, if your circumference, your waist circumference is going up, that means you're gaining fat, and you need to check your calories, or you need to find a better way to track the food and to track your exercise. Now, again, this isn't a video about tracking, but I will say, just because you don't want to track, it doesn't mean that the calories don't count. And I want to say that again, because it's very, very important. There's people out there who say it's pointless to track. I don't want to track. I don't want to be in an app checking this and checking that. And it's annoying to use my MyFitnessPal or whatever other app you use. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to track, but have some level of awareness, because just because you're not tracking the calories, it doesn't mean that the calories don't count. The calories count. And if you're losing weight, it's because you're eating less. And if you're gaining weight, it's because you're eating too much. Plain and simple. No matter how the math works out, that's always going to be true, because that's the law of thermodynamics, and that's the truth that science has basically confirmed for years and years and years. And so there's no hiding that. There's no getting away from that. So you might as well have some awareness around how much you're eating and how much you're exercising. Again, doesn't mean you have to be super specific about weighing your food on a food scale or anything, but you want to have some level of awareness, because that's the only way you're going to be able to have success. It's kind of like having a budget. If you want to save money for a car, or you want to save money for whatever you want to buy, you have to understand what your budget is, and you have to track your expenses, the money that's coming in and the money that's going out, and the money that you're putting away and saving. So when you're doing fat loss, think about that money that you're putting away and saving. Think about that as the calories that you're putting away and saving. You're eating less calories so that you can lose weight. And you're treating it just like your budget, your financial budget, right? You have a calorie budget every day, and you want to stick around to where that budget is. And if you do that successfully and you do that consistently, you will absolutely lose weight. So there you have it. A simple explanation. Hopefully it wasn't too sciencey for you, but I wanted you to understand how simple. It doesn't mean that fat loss is easy, because you still have to do it. But fat loss is very, very simple and straightforward if you know what you're doing. And so hopefully now you feel more confident about what you're doing in order to lose fat. So Again, fat loss is energy in versus energy out. There's a couple of different ways that you can manipulate that equation. You can eat less, you can exercise more, or you can eat a little less and exercise a little more. A combination of the two. It's up to you how you decide to do that. If you want to eat a little less and you want to make it more manageable, focus on foods that are whole foods, that have more fiber in it and that have more protein in it, so that you stay full and you stay happy while you're doing this diet and you're trying to lose weight. You don't want to be grumpy and you don't want to be irritable to your partner or to whoever it is that you're around most of the time. And then the last thing I'll say is just focus on small improvements, small little things. Don't throw everything in all at once, because you're gonna get overwhelmed and you're not gonna be able to do it and you're not gonna be consistent. Start small, start slow. Little by little, you'll get there. If this was helpful for you, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I put out 1 or 2 videos every week. I'm trying to aim for about 1 video a week. I've got a lot of free resources for you. I've got a free nutrition guide, an ebook, and then I've got a sleep guide. If you go down into the description, both links are gonna be in there. If you're interested in learning a little more about how I work with select clients, I do have a video where I describe what my coaching is like in terms of my one-on-one coaching, what that program is like. It's a longer video. It's about a little bit over 50 minutes, but I think it's worth it for you to watch that if you are considering working with someone one-on-one, because I would recommend that you work with someone who's actually done it. And so I can kind of show you exactly how to get there, not only for you, but for your lifestyle and for your specific situation. Again, like, subscribe, and thank you for tuning in. If you're here still, I appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate you sticking around. And next, I'm gonna link one of the other videos here so you can check out some more of my content, and I will see you on the next video.